Good morning, caller. Welcome to the Pulse Radio Show.
Peace be unto you and yours.
Always good to hear from you.
Thank you very much, my former neighbor, and up and on.
Oh Lord,
I can see
you know that
there.
holds a special place in my
I
heart.
can see you there in your short parts with your bare feet.
You
Has it both feet?
I
Yeah.
don't speak. I don't
Gotcha.
speak. They used to speak. Anyhow, what is life without a joy?
telling me.
On a serious note, good morning to you, to your distinguished guest,
Yes.
Good morning.
to the staff at CBC, and our listeners. I'm Miss Bob. I have a concern. I met a young lady on Saturday, and I prayed and I studying her all the time. She got turned back twice. She have goiter and something else, and she's scared, and she said to me, she don't sleep well at night. Her surgery got turned down twice. So I'm asking. The last one was the surgery and the AC and thing. Those who for goiter, throat, and breathing problems, I'd like to know when they'll be able to start back surgeries. Please. I feel sorry for this young lady.
Yes, I commiserate with your concern. We have started back surgeries, and there is a bit of a backlog right now. So what I will do for you is ask you to take your name and number and the number of the
person?
contact information for the person
Yeah.
so that we can deal specifically with her.
Okay.
So-
All right. Well, I will give it to the philosopher.
Yes, ma'am. Thank you.
Okay.
Yeah. Well, so we can get to her, and as usual, you know the drill. Let Andre, Herwood, who is our producer, take your information so that we can share that with our patient advice and liaison service, and get that information to you, to that person, the individual, as soon as possible, so that we can have them sorted out, get that surgery back on track. So we do apologize for that situation. We are happy to say that the majority of theaters are now back in operation. We have 9 of them, and they are working. Those big units that were for the ACs have been totally revitalized and are working well. And we have those 9 operating theaters up and running, with 3 more set in the not too distant future to add to that complement, and that is over by the Lions Eye Care Center.
Yes.
Indeed. So and all of this, a lot of these things that have been fixed and adjusted do affect how we deliver service to the public. So we know that we were hampered when those air conditioning systems were down. They're back up now, so we can again get back on track with a lot of those surgeries. I know just in this morning's report, over 20 surgeries being done, listed to be done today. So the team is getting cracking, and we're going to try to do our best to meet the demand where it falls. Let's get that quick call before we talk about service delivery here on the show, because that is our focus today. Good morning, caller. Welcome to the Pulse Radio Show, the Queen Elizabeth Hospital Pulse Radio Show. How can we help you?
Good morning, Shane Silly. How you doing?
I'm well. How are you?
I'm fine, thanks. And good morning to your guest.
Good morning, ma'am.
Hi, good morning. I have a little issue. I was supposed to go to the hospital last month, right? For my 2 knees to get x-ray. I got canceled to the 13th of November. And I was very upset because my knees is hurt me extreme bad. And they turned me down to the 13th of October. Told me that they got a lot back up. You tell me what's the reason there? That what you should do?
Well, similar to our last caller, please leave your contact details with us, and we're going to funnel this through the patient advice and liaison service, have our team get back to you and let you know what is the situation with your case and when you will be due for your procedure. So just leave your information with Andre, and we will definitely get back to you with a possible date and possible information on when the procedure would take place. Okay? Thanks for calling. And again, it is these calls that we appreciate because we need to know where the gaps are. And Louise, you and your team have been trying to close those gaps.
Yes, we have.
Through this part of the 2025 to 2028 strategy, which is service delivery. What are some of these things that we have conceptualized to ensure that we close those gaps that some of those callers have been mentioning?
Okay, Shane, thank you for the calls as well. It is a good segue into what we want to discuss this morning. As you would have heard from the CEO last week, he made reference to our strategic plan. Service delivery is one of the pillars of that strategic plan, and the aim of it is to advance service delivery and maintain high standards of care. How do we do that? We do that by keeping the patient at the center of our focus. Just let me step back a little bit. This is a very exciting time in the transition of the QEH. This is another phase of transition from my perspective. We would have gone through the first phase when we moved from a department of government to a board. And that first phase, which took quite a bit of time, was about stabilizing the organization, making sure that we had the right resources, the human resources. And as we continue to go through transition to transition, we are now at the point where we are taking a deeper look at how we design our services around that patient. And then there's several areas where we have refined our focus so that we meet the aim of delivering a standard that is high and that meets the expectation of our patients, keeping the patient at the center of our focus. That means making sure that the services are accessible to the patient, making sure that the outcomes when we do deliver that service are beneficial to the patient, making sure that we keep the patient safe, we do no harm to the patient, and making sure that we respect the patient, that we don't see them as a case, we see them as human beings with a right to the right type of health care. So our strategic plan as it relates to service delivery is centered around 4 or 5 domains. First domain is safety. What we're doing in this area is highlighting a set of safety standards, and we're doing that by structuring our clinical governance arrangements. We literally have amalgamated 3 areas into one department. That is clinical risk, patient experience, and quality, so that we are establishing linkages in these areas and strengthening our oversight of patient outcomes and their experience.
I was just going to ask you, how does that amalgamation, as you were starting to allude to, would help patients or help improve that experience and service that the patients feel when they are in our care?
Right. So it starts with standardizing all our safety procedures. Right now we are in the midst of preparing ourselves for another round of accreditation, and accreditation talks about mainly keeping the patient safe and adhering to required organizational practices to do so. We have also a set of standards for making sure that the clinical pathway of the patient and protocols to making sure that the clinical pathway is clear and unimpeded by other systemic challenges. So it is about addressing the system obstacles, the things that stop us from providing that patient with the right care. It is about making sure that while we do so we establish what our protocols are for treatment, what our nursing care protocols should look like. We conduct audits to make sure that we are doing the things that we should, and where we go wrong, we make corrective action. But we also, in all of that, try to make sure that the patient's experience is one in which they would feel free at any time to recommend the QEH as a optimal place for service acute, secondary, and tertiary hospital care. Our patient experience department is growing, and it is maturing into one that will redound to the expectations of our clients. Right now, we are at the beginning of establishing a set of surveys and tools that we use to gauge the patient's experience, and when things don't go as well as we expect or the patient expect, how we make that corrective action. So there's several types of surveys that you will see those persons who attend to the hospital or patient experience department conducting over the next period and quarters in our service cycle. And we'll use that information, use that data, and turn that data into corrective actions and ways in which we can improve the patient's experience and the service that we deliver. So the caller before talked about delays in their surgery. That can be considered a systemic root of challenge when it comes to making sure that we make the best use of our theater time. So right now there's a major redesign of that service. This is being led by the Director of Medical Services. He's another executive director that shares the service delivery portfolio. Mm-hmm. And he and the chairman of our strategic operating committee has done some really profound work in revamping how we optimize our theaters. The aim is to end up with the most productive theater service, and several protocols and practices, things that were custom and practice, are now structured as serious and refined protocols that will help us to improve how we deliver the services for our surgeries, both elective and for our public surgeries. Now, all of this is going to be enhanced when we have our health information system, when that is up and running, where we would be able then to see at real time, everybody can see and understand what our queuing is like for our surgical procedures, and how we can improve access to those surgical procedures. Indeed. Because we'll have at our fingertips that information and data. Perfect. And where we need to make adjustments, we'll use that system to help us to make those adjustments.
Health information system will be a big game changer.
Yes.
For us in terms of guiding the processes for the patients coming through our system, really helping us with our scheduling, and also just putting the health information of every individual at their fingertips as well. A lot more has to be spoken about in relation to that. Let's go to the phone lines. We do have another caller. Welcome, caller, to the Pulse Radio Show. How can we help? And please turn down the radio if you don't mind. Just focus on our conversation here on the radio show. Yeah, I think you turned it down. Oh, and then you disappeared.
Oh, there.
Hopefully you will call back. We want to hear
Hello?
from you. Oh, you're there. Thank you.
Hello. Blessed good morning to you and to your guests.
Hi, good morning.
I'm calling about an ultrasound that I was to had since in 2025, early 2025. On the day before I was to get the ultrasound, that's in November, they called me and told me that it has been canceled and they would get back to me with a date. And up to now, they haven't called. Every day I've been listening to hear, and all right now I haven't heard anything.
Oh, that is very unfortunate, and we do apologize that you haven't heard back from our team.
Yes,
what
please.
I can advise you to do is call the Patient Advice and Liaison Service. That helps our patients with their experience and any challenges they may have, helps you to navigate the system. Please call 536 4800.
Okay.
536 4800.
Yes, please.
And that's between 7 in the morning and 7 at night.
Okay, thank you very much, and you have a blessed day, you and your guests and all at CBC.
And don't go yet, because we want to take your name and number as well.
Okay.
So please leave that with our producer, Andre
Yes,
Herod.
please. Yes, please.
Andre Herod. I'm rechristening you, Andre. Please leave that with Andre, and we will get back to you sometime today.
Okay, Mr. Seeley.
Yeah, so but again, apologies for that.
Day. Okay.
Thank you very much for calling. We appreciate that. Any way we can help our patients, that is what we are here to do. Here to be accountable and here to ensure that patients' experience is improved at our hospital. You were speaking about the health information system. When you were wearing your other hat, you were a bit more intimately involved in that. But I think I was, and we generally, the executive team was impressed by the number of advantages that would come, not for only the QEH, but for patients when we have that up and running. How would that help to enhance service delivery? How do you see it enhancing the delivery through those components which are a part of our 2025 to 2028 strategy?
Well, Shane, first and foremost, we will be moving away from a manual system, and moving away from a manual system and going to electronic means that the information will be at our fingertips, real-time information that can help our clinicians make better choices for our patients, better as in that they will be more effective and efficient because it's real-time access to information. So it's the turnaround time between diagnosis and treatment is going to be way faster. It's going to streamline all of their clinical workflows, to automate them so that the service delivery is more efficient and effective. And you're going to be able to make clinical decisions based on accurate and real-time information. So it has, as you said before, it is going to be a complete game changer. We have been using and expanding technology, Sheen, over the last couple of years. In fact, the HIS will be the pinnacle of that drive to expand technology. Right now, there are several modules of the HIS that are being implemented, but I'm most excited to see how our patient portal is going to work. The public will hear more about that as we sensitize them towards how we're going to be changing the way we use technology and how they access our services. But I'm so excited about that patient portal where you can stay in your home, in the comfort of your home, and access your information via portal. I imagine as it is becomes more mature and refined, that you will also be able to make your appointments online from the comfort of your home. You will be able to see in A&E if the wait times are too much for you, that you would consider being seen in a different healthcare setting. That type of access to information is what I referred to earlier when we talked about putting the patient at the center of all that we do, making care accessible, and particularly as it relates to their own information. So enhanced patient care and engagement is a output from that HIS.
Okay, we'll take a quick break. We have a lot more to talk about here on the QEH Pulse radio show. I'm here with Louise Bobb, our Chief Operations Officer, And when we come back, we'll talk about another component that Louise is in charge of improving the service, something that is a fan favorite. So more when we return to the Pulse Radio Show right here on Q100.7 FM.
For all your medical supply needs, visit MedSafe Medical Supplies Limited. We offer a wide range of products including wheelchairs, walkers, canes, crutches, blood pressure machines, stethoscopes, and so much more. Conveniently located on Gemmett's Lane, just a 2-minute walk from the Queen Elizabeth Hospital. And for your convenience, we deliver free to the QEH. Open Monday to Saturday, 8:30 a.m. to 5:30 p.m. Call us at 624-7542. MedSafe Medical Supplies Limited, your trusted source for medical essentials.
It's always my absolute pleasure to spend some time with you this hour on Monday from 11 to 12 on the QEH Pulse Radio Show, giving you the information that I think that you can use to better navigate your hospital, our hospital. And things have been improving. It has been a work in progress, but a lot of work is being undertaken. I think the QEH is at a point of transition where I can say that we've never seen so many projects all at once happening at one single institution. And remember, this is an institution that employs some 3,000 odd people. And a lot of emphasis has been placed by this government on the healthcare system, and particularly the QEH, because it has to be a place that works for the people of Barbados and beyond. And we've been seeing a lot more of those coming into the island to get services right there at the Queen Elizabeth Hospital. Some of them come through the Accident and Emergency Department. We know that has always been a bit of a challenge, meeting the demands of all of those who use the facility. And Miss Bobb, Louise, has been charged with making sure that service delivery is improved there as well. So she's really every day after between 8:30 and 9. I'm giving a bit of inside information now. Looking at and analyzing where A&E is at on a daily basis, and then planning and structuring overall, yes, to improve the services, but how we can improve the daily flow and output of A&E. I know I'm making it sound like a factory, but it is about caring for people in the best way possible who are anxious, who are worried about what condition they are presenting with, and making sure that we ease their anxiety and tensions as much as possible so that we can get the best outcome for them, which is returning to some sense of normalcy in their life, no matter what condition they present with at the Accident and Emergency Department. So you've been working with your service improvement managers, Louise, to streamline the flows in accident and emergency from door to door. Talk a bit about that. What has that been like, taking on such a mammoth task?
Yes, Shane, yes, mammoth indeed. As you know, A&E is the gateway to our hospital, and we have been under a lot of scrutiny. It attracts a lot of attention, particularly when it becomes challenging. But I want to dispel some of the myths, and I want to add clarity and give perspective to what actually happens in A&E and what we are trying to do to improve the services there. You mentioned the word flow, and that's exactly what the whole focus on A&E as it relates to our strategic plan is about. How do we optimize flow? How do we create a seamless transition from the patient who comes from the external, so either from their GP, they're referred from another urgent care facility, or they come on their own. How do we transition them from that presentation in A&E, out of A&E, and if they are to be discharged back into a setting where they can, if they have to continue care, they continue care, or if we have to admit them, how they get onto the wards, and how we push that flow, an optimized flow, while on the wards and to discharge. So several initiatives, quality initiatives.
And in a timely manner as well.
And in a timely manner.
Because that has always been the crux.
Yes.
How much time some people have to spend
Yes.
in
Yes.
and it varies because of so many different factors.
Yes. So wait times is a standard that we try to address daily. So once you've presented an A&E, and let me say to the public of Barbados, the persons presenting to A&E are presenting with higher acuity of illness. It means that they are sicker than what we would have seen
Say 10, 20 years
10,
ago.
12 years ago. They are sicker. The surprisingly enough, the presentations are less, but the people are sicker. They're presenting late with complications. And sometimes they present with one condition, and our tests reveal that there's several other complications
Wow.
that require more diagnosis and interventions. So you may come into A&E with a cold, severe cold, and we discover that you had not been taking your blood pressure medication, so there's some pressure on your organs and so on, and it calls for more diagnostics to be given, so you have to stay in A&E longer. So while that may be the case, we should also be doing, as the service providers, all that we can to make sure that we optimize the services in a way that you get the best out of us. So that one of the first things that our service improvement managers did to address the long wait time. So I'm not going to go into too much about the numbers and the statistics. I'm going to tell the story, about the story behind the statistics. So sometimes from presentation to even being triaged took longer than it should have taken. So we implemented a registration system that became digital. So now we are 100% digital when it comes to our registration, and that cuts down on the wait time, believe it or not. So you go onto the system, there's a platform that we use, and you put in your information. That information then is taken by the medical records person. They can see the information real time. So you can see how technology reduces challenges in services. That door to triage time, this is about almost 2 months. That door to triage time when we take our morning call is 0. There's no wait time for triage any longer. And I am pretty certain that when we trend and do the trend and trend the figures and statistics, we will see that our door to triage time has been reduced by X%. So we can't tell the figures right now, but at the end, when we report again on our stewardship, we'll be able to show a significant decrease in that door to triage time. We also measure the door to the doctor time. And there's several transactions that occur after you've been triaged and you wait to see the A&E doctor. What we're doing now is based on our morning stats. So every morning at 8:30 we get what is happening in A&E and other service areas though, but it starts with A&E that is causing operational pressure on that department. And when we set certain thresholds, so when we know the numbers are above the threshold, that we are entering a danger zone, and when it is far off, we have to do something about it. So there's several initiatives that are being undertaken to unravel bottlenecks and address those things that stop the patient from flowing faster and more efficiently through the A&E. One of them is We just the other day had a meeting with our consultant A&E doctors, and we're going to standardize how they hand over shifts. We're going to refine, because there's a standard, but we're going to refine that standard by making sure that everybody does the same thing all of the time in terms of, and this is the entire department, not just the doctors and nurses, because the A&E department has a complement of a multidisciplinary team. So anything that we can do as a multidisciplinary team will be done to make sure that we reduce those bottlenecks in A&E. There's also the turnaround time for diagnostics that we're looking at. We've set ourselves some targets for those turnaround times. I know Dr. Ford, the most honorable Dr. Corey Ford, who is the Director of Clinical and Diagnostic Services, has been doing some really profound work in making sure that we reduce the turnaround time for diagnostics for both lab and radiology, and how we respond. So after the A&E doctor has seen the patient and it requires a specialty to respond, I know Dr. Chase has been working on those protocols for how we respond for specialty consults, and those have been improving over the last 3 months. I can see improvements there. So the flow from A&E to the wards also have a lot to do with how many beds are available. So we use over 500 beds daily, our census, and those are beds including pediatrics and so on. But our census tells us every morning that for medical services, so medicine, internal medicine, we are oversubscribed. 100% of those beds are taken up every day.
Whoa.
And we have to then assign persons to outliers. So the patients are over various service units, and we have to keep our eye on those patients in various service units. What we are doing now is we are in the process of developing a plan that optimizes the beds. So we have a bed management unit that seeks to place the persons in beds every day. They work with the clinicians to establish who can be discharged, and we place patients every day. But you can imagine now that I've told you that we are always 100% full when it comes to the medical beds, how difficult that is.
Indeed. And
so therefore, in order to wrestle that challenge down, we're going to try and find the data. We just don't want to say that medicine is full, we have to put the patient somewhere else. Why is medicine full? Are there systemic issues that prevent us from discharging persons from the beds, from the hospital? And they are. So we've started some work on establishing a days of care audit. That's an audit that will tell us who should not still be in hospital and what we can do to affect their discharge safely.
Safe discharges.
That work is being undertaken by the SIMS team as well. And what we're going to do is use the data that we mine and that comes to hand to press for some more reform in the other external partners that we have, because we have that perennial problem of getting our social cases, those that are no longer require acute secondary and tertiary care, can be discharged in a different healthcare setting, but we continue to keep them because that social net isn't strong enough yet.
Yeah, and there's another part to that story, and we will tell that shortly. Let's go to the phone lines very quickly. We have a couple of callers there. Good morning. Welcome to the Pulse Radio Show. How can we help?
A blessed good morning, Shane. Are you your guest?
Good morning.
Yes. I'm waiting on hip replacement and knee replacement. I every time I go to the hospital, I'm getting rescheduled all the time. I was to go last week, Friday. I got a call Thursday evening telling me I put back till November. And I in a wheelchair, the pain got me, and it's 3 years this month and 9 months this month.
I'm so sorry to hear, caller. The approach that we're going to be taking in terms of our optimizing our theaters is going to redound to all of these issues, the improvement of how we make these services accessible to yours, particularly in backlogs in orthopedics and ophthalmology. And it seems as though these calls have continued from last week, Shane, and from our public accountability and town hall meetings.
Mm-hmm.
So we're going to take your name. I do think that November is long enough. You've waited 3 years already. November is inordinately long. And we are going to be looking at a special project to reduce the backlogs in these areas. You know, we had some problems or issues with our theaters, so that created a backlog in itself. But we're going to have to do something a little bit more out of the box in terms of how we bridge the gaps that have been created. And our public should stay tuned to hear more about what we plan to do with addressing these backlogs of surgeries.
Indeed.
So I'm very sorry for your circumstance, but I will ask you to give your name and number to the moderator so that we can follow up appropriately.
Okay, thank you very much.
Yes, please leave it with Andre, and we will get you sorted, okay? All right. So it is these. So we've received these calls, as you mentioned, since last week. We have, and I pray that they keep flowing, because it is these people that we need to help.
Yes.
There are some people who are coming through, and they're getting their treatment, they're getting their procedures done, they're going home, they're resting, they're recuperating, and they're getting their lives back to some sense of normalcy.
Mm-hmm.
But there are some which have fell through the cracks, and we want you to call us so that we can address these situations as they arise, because at the end of the day, we want to make sure that you also have that same opportunity to say that you came to the Queen Elizabeth Hospital, you received your treatment, and now you're getting back to some sense of normalcy in your life. 11:45 is our time. We have another caller. Welcome, caller, to the Pulse Radio Show. How can we help you?
Good morning, sir.
Good morning. How are you doing?
Well, not so good, but thankful I'm alive. I went to the hospital to get an appointment with the foot doctor. I sat down from 9 until about after 1 o'clock to get into the appointment room. When I did, they gave me a card and told me that the doctor makes the appointments herself. I will get a call. This is since February, and the card is still sitting here waiting for a call.
Well, you're waiting for a call with the card, and we don't want you to wait any longer. We do not want you to wait any longer. You know our number, for our patient advice and liaison service. That was a question, but I'll still tell you either way. It is 536-4800.
536
4800.
536 4800.
Yeah, and I want you to call that number, and let our medical team give you some guidance as to what would have happened. Hopefully they can find that out for you, but to give you some guidance on what is next and how we can get that appointment sorted out for you, because you were waiting for the doctor who sets the appointments to give you that call back, or the medical records team to call you back. But someone should have called you back by now. We do apologize. So we want you to give that number a call, and let's see how we can get this situation sorted for you. Please leave your name with Andre.
Yes.
And we will get back to you as soon as possible.
And if you knew the name of the doctor, ma'am, could you please leave that as well?
With Andre.
Yeah, the number is on the card. The doctor's name is on the card.
Good.
Perfect.
Please
So
leave
leave that with Andre as well, so that can help us. That information can help us speed up the process as well. So thank you so much for calling. Thank you very, very much for calling. And Andre is actively taking the information. And when we finish today's show, we will take the information back to that same multidisciplinary department, which is now patient advice and liaison service, clinical risk, and
quality,
coming all under clinical governance.
Yes.
Clinical governance, it's a term that is a bit different or a bit maybe unusual for patients coming into the hospital. Patients are familiar with accident and emergency. Patients are familiar with ENT clinic. Patients are familiar with labor ward, probably, for those expecting mothers. Patients are familiar with the pharmacy. Patients are familiar with medical records. Clinical governance is something different for them. It was previously clinical risk, and we've added 2 other departments on to that, and they are now under one umbrella, or moving under one umbrella. And you spoke about it at the top of the program. How important is this that we get this right, this combination of these 3 departments under what will now be called clinical governance?
Yes, Shane. So what we expect out of that amalgamation is that no patient should be left behind.
And left not knowing.
Left in the dark. So besides making sure that we maintain our standards as it relates to patient safety, and we have a set of required organizational practices and high priority standards that speak to that, making sure that our protocols and procedures that are centered around keeping the patient safe are maintained. We monitor them for compliance. Besides doing that, we have established a quality improvement green or embryonic, I should say, at this stage. But the aim of it is to make sure that we establish clinical and patient safety frameworks that guide how we meet the patient's expectations for the delivery of service, the quality of that service. So that committee will be guiding the board on what should be on the agenda for each cycle as it relates to quality. Clinical governance department now establishes, as I said, the link between clinical risks. So we make sure that we have a integrated risk framework that tells us what are the things that, based on the operations of the organization, based on the challenges that we've have, not met expectations, what should we be concentrating on, and what corrective action should be taken? Where should we focus our attention to establish what the root cause of why that particular transaction between us and the patient went wrong? When it is less clinical but more non-clinical and about how the patient felt they were being treated, how we responded to them as a client, then when things don't go the way that they should, we will refer to our patient experience department. And the work that they're beginning to do is to get from the patient exactly how you felt when we delivered the service, how did you feel about the environment that the service was being delivered in, how you felt about how the doctors and the nurses spoke to you, how you felt about how long you had to wait for certain services, and where there's need to make corrections to that experience. We use several surveys to do that.
So a true deep dive into the experience of that patient.
Yes.
And after this call, I want you to give an example, because we had a number of calls, so we got a number of examples that we can work with, how we would walk through probably one of those individuals through that network that has now been created under clinical governance. Good morning, caller. We have 8 more minutes on the show. Welcome to the QEH Pulse Radio Show. Good morning.
Morning, Shane. How are you doing?
I'm well. How are you?
Not too bad, thanks. I have a problem going to hospital, you know. When you get there, most most appointments all the time. But my problem is with transportation, you know, is problem to get out there, you know, and
transportation.
Taxi in the sport. So I wonder if there's any way that y'all give me help to get up there, you know, when you have to come.
Oh, transportation. So when you have to come, are you coming for appointment or medication?
Pardon me?
Are you coming for an appointment or are you coming for medication?
No, I come for medication. I also have I was coming there with a clinic, you know. So each time you come there, you know, it's time to get an appointment, come back, and you know, transport it's easy, you know.
Okay. All right. So as far as the transportation goes, that may be a bit difficult, but I can give you an option that can help to reduce the number of times you have to come to the hospital, at least for the medication service. Have you subscribed to the medication delivery service?
Pardon me?
Have you subscribed to the medication delivery service? Are you a part of it? Do you get your medication delivered to you?
Well, the sign as are the medication, but I mean, when you have to come there to make first an appointment, you know, it would be a problem, you know.
All right, so this is what I can do for you. You can leave your number, and then we can see how best we can help you out. You know, you say your transportation is a challenge. We can see how best we can facilitate so that your commute back and forth to the hospital doesn't have to be as often. Hopefully that is something that can be worked out to better serve you. So please leave your name and your contact details with Andre, and we will definitely try to get back to you and see if we can iron out some of your issues, sir. Okay? Thank you so much for calling and sharing with us on the QEH Pulse Radio Show. So, but previously, Louise, if we could go back a little bit. So we had a caller that called and said, you know, she had a challenge with the appointment, and she came and they put her to another date, and that had happened a couple times. How would you help a person like that under the clinical governance structure? And I'm sorry to pause you. Another call just came through. Let's go to the phone line. Good morning, caller. Welcome to the Pulse Radio Show. You're on. How can we help?
Hi, good morning.
Good morning.
My concern is about my son. He had a broken feet set to 2nd of February last year and was waiting surgery, and each time we're getting canceled.
This was orthopedics.
Yes, please.
Yes. Well, we had that situation with the OTs, our operating theaters, which has now been sorted in terms of the air conditioning unit. So we've moved from 3 back to 9 theaters in operation. I know that 7 were being used today. Hopefully we can get back to all of our patients. We know that there is a backlog, but we're now trying to clear that backlog and meet the demand of patients as they come as well. What you can do for your situation, as we have been instructing some of the others who have called with their issues, please leave your name, your contact number. See if we can get your son back on the schedule. When last have you received a call from us at the hospital?
Well, most of the time, for the last 3 months or so, the appointment was being canceled.
Okay. So you went 3 months ago and they gave you another date?
Gave him another date. February, then get one for June.
Right, so in February...
I got one. I got one for July, again for the appointment.
Oh, so you came back in this month already, too, as well?
That got canceled. April got canceled. Last month got canceled. Every month get canceled. Someone called me last month. I mean, my next appointment will be
The 10th of July.
Well, for him, his next appointment for your son, the
Yeah.
10th of July. Okay. So, in the interim, please leave your name and contact details. Let's see if we can find out what is happening with this. But, you know, we just want to find out what is happening, that the surgery or the treatment for your son has been cancelled, because some of these things are cancelled for a number of reasons.
Yes.
But we want to find out what is the
Yeah.
situation in this instance. So leave the information with Andrea Herwood, our producer, and we will definitely have our team get back to you to find out what is happening with your son's surgery. Right. So I mean,
so even in a situation like
that's
this,
an
Shane,
example.
That's an example,
Yeah.
right? That someone sustained a broken foot, a child, I assume is a child, I don't know, I thought it was a child, since last year, February. The whole year has passed, right? So this will go straight to clinical risk. Because this is a concern around some kind of clinical intervention that has not taken place. So what clinical risk would do is take all of the information from the complainant, and they will source the patient record that will tell them the story of what transpired. Sometimes it is that we haven't been articulate enough, or we haven't communicated well enough that our patient understands what has transpired. Sometimes it is that. Sometimes we have been very articulate, but there's some other systemic pressure that is stopping this service from being rendered. So once the clinical risk department has the patient record, they will make contact with the clinicians to delve even deeper into what has been happening. And where we see the need to intervene, even administratively, to reassess the dates that have been given for the patient to come back to clinic and so on, we will do so if it requires that.
Okay.
Because at the end of the day, if you're not even seeing the doctor, how do they know what is going on with the person's condition,
exactly.
if it's worsening or not, right? So unfortunately, these are some of the gaps that we have. There are less of those than there are of the ones that receive their service, as you spoke about,
Exactly.
get in and out and are satisfied.
But we are happy.
These, yes, we want to hear about these so we could fashion a plan of action around how we make the service, as I said before, accessible to the person that means the most to us, why we come to work every day, the patient.
We appreciate those of you who have called today and last week here on the Pulse Radio Show. We do want to keep those calls coming. Unfortunately, right now we are out of time. We've been talking about service delivery and some of the enhancements being made under the 2025 to 2028 strategy. This component of the strategy is being led by our Chief Operations Officer, Louise Bobb, who I'm thankful has been able to spend an hour with us here today to go through some of those things that are happening to improve the service. Just a quick note for you, this week is Blood Donor Week, June 8th to the 12th. So we want those blood donors, there are many of you out there, but we want some new ones to head on down to the Blood Collecting Center there in Lady Mead Gardens, right next to Winston Scott Polyclinic. And please donate the gift of blood. It's all in the lead up to World Blood Donor Day, and that will be over the weekend, but we're celebrating during the week by sharing the gift of life. Please go and donate. Just walk in June 8th to the 12th to the Lady Mead Gardens Blood Collecting Center. Please go to our website www.qehconnect.com for more information. That's all of the time we have for this edition of the Pulse Radio Show. Thank you, Louise.
Thank you, Shane. Thank you, Barbados, for listening, and I hope to be able to serve you better. The Queen Elizabeth hospital hopes to be able to serve you better.
She says I because, that's her taking ownership
Yeah.
of the hospital. as we all do. It's good to be here. We'll see you next week. More to come right here on the Pulse Radio Show. Next week, we'll focus on the treatment happening under the Linear Accelerator Program.
The QEH Pulse Radio Show brought to you with the compliments of MedSafe Medical Supplies Limited.
For all your medical supply needs, visit MedSafe Medical Supplies Limited. We offer a wide range of products including wheelchairs, walkers, canes, crutches, blood pressure machines, stethoscopes, and so much more. Conveniently located on Jemmets Lane, just a 2-minute walk from the Queen Elizabeth Hospital. And for your convenience, we deliver free to the QEH. Open Monday to Saturday, 8:30 a.m. to 5:30 p.m. Call us at 624-7542. MedSafe Medical Supplies Limited, your trusted source for medical essentials.
Q100.7 FM, the heart of the community, the home of your favorite personalities. Your morning drive sensation, the Admiral. Between me and you, Kimberly, the tall man who digs deep into music and its history, Andre. Positive vibes with Mr. Blood, the man who captivates your heart, Mark Anthony. And your daily dose of sunshine, Chantel. Call us on 434-1007 and 434-1070. For our overseas listeners, our area code is 246. WhatsApp us on 434-1007. Q100.7 FM, the heart of the community.
From the CBC News and Current Affairs Department, we now present Top Lines.
A call for legislation to support the implementation of Barbados' National School Nutrition Policy. One trade union says proper behavior in the PSV sector could eliminate illegal operators. Changes to labor legislation in the Bahamas to be enacted soon. And a powerful 7.8 magnitude earthquake hits the Philippines, killing more than 30 people.
This has been Top Lines from the CBC News and Current Affairs Department. Join us at 1 p.m. today for the CBC News World at 1.
We are Q100.7 FM, the heart of your community.
Right now, I want everybody start to to release the pressure that you might be under. So get up and dance, dance, dance. Let's soca release the tension. Yeah.